Hey, Trailblazers, we have some exciting news here at the Trailblazing Texas Podcast. We have partnered up with Hilltop Packs, not just because they make amazing ultralight gear, but because they're a small family-run business doing huge things for our hiking and backpacking community. Every food bag, dry sack, fanny pack that you order can be completely customized. Print your trail name, your dog's face, your favorite mountain, or really whatever inspires you. When you shop at Hilltop Packs, you're not only buying gear that you're absolutely going to love, but you're supporting real families, real jobs, and small town craftsmanship. So head over to hilltoppacks.com and use code TTP10 to get 10% off of your order. Now on with the episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas Podcast, where we embark on a journey through our diverse Texas landscapes and breathtaking trails while always engaging with our amazing Texas hiking community. So settle in, tighten up those bootlaces, and get ready for the thrilling tales awaiting for you on this episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and today we have Interpretive Ranger Kathryn coming to us all the way from Martin Dies State Park. Kathryn, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, first question, and this is probably the most important question outside of the one that we'll get to. How is mosquito and horsefly season currently at the park?
Horseflies, not too many, but the mosquitoes are absolutely awful. Same with the love bugs. I didn't know that love bugs were a thing because I'm not from Texas. So I came down here, and a few weeks ago I was like, "What are these black bugs all flying around?" And someone's like, "Oh yeah, they're love bugs." I was like, "What?" I don't know the actual name for them, but yeah, they're. I was driving over my weekend, and I got out of my car and I looked at my windshield and just the front of it, and my car is red, like a deep red, but now the front is like all black. It's all just covered in all those bugs, and so I'd say the mosquitoes are okay. The love bugs are awful.
Let me tell you, spray off your car as much as possible because I don't know if it's their blood, their whatever, it's not good for the paint. So just a
Is it
little
really?
Texas advice for you.
Oh no.
I guess the first question, and you just said you're not from Texas. When you were coming to the park for the very first time, what did you think? And I can tell you, share with me real quickly. I was driving to the state park. I had a day. It wasn't too far away. I'm from Houston, so it'd be kind of like a cool little day trip. And there's a bridge that I hit, and you're traveling over water. And I was like, there's no way this is Texas. Absolutely not. So did you have the same feeling that what in the heck I would have never imagined? Or were you like, okay.
Kind of both. I have a few friends that are from Texas, but they're from West Texas. So whenever they talk about it, they'd be like, "Yeah, Texas is desert. It's hot. There's not a lot of trees." And I was like, "Okay, I need to mentally prepare myself because I've only been here since June." So I came down here and I got to my apartment and I explored the area and I was like, "Wait a minute, this isn't desert. There's trees. There's water."
Oh yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe how spectacular. And then driving into the park and then exploring all the trails, the little dump offs into the water that, hiking along the trail. Martin Dies Jr. is a gem of a state park. And so it was just interesting for me to see what your kind of first impressions were, especially not being from Texas, and to see something so spectacular. All right. So what I like to do is start off the podcast. I call it a lightning round. I have no idea I want something a little better than calling it the lightning round, but it's just really a warm up, get our thinking caps on. So it's fun, fast, short answers, to the listeners, as you know, Kathryn has not seen these questions. Yeah, so let's just get your reaction. Are you ready?
Oh boy, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I promise these are fun, not hard questions. I had a family member come on the podcast. She just graduated with her environmental science degree, so she's really into about water conservation and wetlands. And I looked at her lightning round questions and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are hard. I was like, River, these are going to be hard. So
Oh, no.
buckle up. All right, here we go. Sunrise or sunset at the park?
Sunrise.
Favorite paddling route?
Walnut Slough.
Do you have a favorite fishing spot?
No, not yet.
Most surprising wildlife sighting you've had?
Alligators.
You guys have alligators?
Yeah.
All right. In your opinion, I know you haven't been at the park, you said, for a whole calendar year, but what do you think is the best month to visit?
October.
All right. One item you'd never hit the trail without?
My camera.
Campfire cooking or picnic lunch?
Picnic lunch.
Best view in the park?
Observation bridge.
If Martin Dice Junior State Park had a mascot, what would it be?
I'd have to be an alligator.
All right. Are there that many?
Yes, there's quite a lot.
Oh. All right. For you, tent camping or hammock camping?
Tent.
What is more fun to spot, an armadillo or a raccoon? And I guess I'll throw an alligator too.
Armadillos, you don't have those in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I got some in my backyard. I'll bring them up to you.
Yes, please.
All right. Would you rather lead a big group hike or solo patrol?
Solo patrol.
Which is sneakier, raccoons or squirrels?
Squirrels.
And this would be an interesting question because I don't know that you have them up in Minnesota, but which is a scarier encounter, a wild hog or a skunk?
I'd have to say a hog. We don't have them in Minnesota, but everybody tells me all about them, so I'm going to say hog.
I have a phobia of hogs, so I live about an hour south of both endpoints of the longest trail in Texas, the Lone Star Hiking Trail. And I usually start hiking. I try to get out on the trail, especially like this time of year, early. So, 5:30, 6 in the morning. And man, there is nothing like scaring up a herd of hog on the trail. I scream and run. They scream and run. Everybody's screaming and running. Yeah. Ticks and hogs, I have a phobia. And, if you just look at hog attacks on Texas hikers, I mean, there's probably none, but still, it's just the thought of them being out there. So, all right. Favorite footwear, hiking boot or trail runner?
Hiking boot.
This is a question of controversy, but we won't let it happen on this podcast.
Deal.
Best for hydration, water bottles or bladder?
Water bottle.
Yes. Oh, we're going to have this episode is going to last for 3 hours.
I just don't like bladders.
They're dangerous.
Yeah, they can break all the time, and I think my water bottle I carry with me has stickers from every park I've been to, so it's just kind of like, I have to take that on everywhere I go.
So, not to break away from the lightning round, but water bladders, they puncture. What are you going to do? If you're with someone that's not as experienced and they think it's a ferry of water that never runs out. And I don't know how much water you have. You don't know how much water I have. And you have, even if we're both experienced equally, I need to see how much water you're taking in. And okay, man, you're really struggling. So maybe I back off the water intake just in case you need some. I haven't been in a lot of near-death situations, but there have been into 2 or 3 really dangerous situations. It was all because the other hiker had a bladder. So awesome. Yes. All right. Speaking of maybe how to save the bladder, what do you think is the best multi-use item? Duct tape or paracord?
Duct tape.
If I gave you a button and you could teleport to any state or national park right now, where would it be?
In the world or in the U.S.?
In the world.
Ooh, that's tough. I'd say any of the national parks in New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Nice. I like that answer. If you gave that question to me, it would be Guadalupe Mountain National Park, 99% of the time.
I haven't been there yet.
I just I j- I let I just finished my 25th trip there. After this podcast, or when you have a planned trip, I will lead you to all the secret spots.
Yes, please.
Now, the 9 of the highest peaks in Texas are in the park,
Oh, are they really?
and yeah, and 4 of them are not trailed, so it's an adventure to
Oh,
get to
that's
them.
so cool.
Yeah, they're all over 8,000 feet. There's an old B-24 plane crash out there in a canyon that we don't talk about, and there is an old Indian grave, but his grave is out there, and it's a big slab of slate with the engraved just right off the highway, like you would never, no one's ever. It's just out there.
Huh.
And so when I go out to Guad, I always go visit him. It's tradition. And then I go drink some water that comes out of the mountain at Smith Spring. And I go talk to him, Jose, pick up trash around his grave. And yeah, it's, it's magical. All right. Dream animal to see on a hike.
Ooh, tiger.
Oh, I got mountain lion. I want to see a mountain lion at Guadalupe Mountain so bad.
I don't know if I want to see a mountain lion. I think I'd
I didn't
rather
say
see a
up
bear.
close, like
Okay.
off in the distance. You
Okay,
know?
if it's far enough away, then yeah, maybe, but maybe.
I had a pal that worked out there, Pam Bells. So if you ever seen the movie Infinite Storm, that's her rescue. And
I've not.
so she was up in the whites. And so she worked at Guadalupe Mountains for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And I would always see her and just go, hey, Ranger Pam, any mountain lion sightings, or, like she was always involved in any rescues or fatalities at the park. So I'm not a morbid person, but I like hearing the stories because you learn a lot, right? Not to
Yeah.
make those mistakes. And so you really get the details behind what happened that's not in the news report. And so I just some lady out there at the park, awesome, cool. And so we were talking about her last sighting of mountain lions, and this was probably 3 trips ago. And we're talking about her rescues, and she's telling me about a rescue, and I'm like, man, that sounds like that movie. I can't think of the name. Oh, Infinite Storm. And she just smiles and she grabs her name badge and she just turns it to me. And I'm like, you're Pam Bells. You're just Ranger Pam. So and I've said this 1,000 times on the podcast. I don't care about athletes, movie stars. Don't care. But I was taking Ussies, and yeah, she was my hero. Yeah, and it was cool that someone like that is at our Texas National Park, and she just, I think, retired from the park, and she was heading to go back to New Hampshire, but just making her way across the United States. I was texting with her 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Just checking in. She sends me a picture. She's out in the middle of Colorado, in the middle of nowhere, cowboy camping. Just her air mattress and sleeping bag, and I was like, oh. So yeah, she's pretty awesome. All right, are you ready? Oh no, I got one other question before we get to the most important. If you had a theme song while rangering, what would it be?
Ooh. My favorite TV show is Friends, so it would have to be the Friends theme song.
All right, love it. All right, are you ready for the most important question of the podcast?
Ready.
This really will dictate our direction and duration. What is your favorite of all times Texas hiking podcast that you've been a guest on?
Trailblazing Texas.
Yes, I love it. I always ask that question. It's 1,000% always the Trailblazing Texas, and it just.
I was going to say, has anybody ever said something different?
They have not, and maybe because they want the episode to continue. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it warms my heart as a host. All right, so I've got some feedback from the listeners, and I really want to create or to have the introduction of this podcast episode about Martin Dies Junior State Park, really to start out with you and let the listeners get to know you a little bit before we dive into the park. So, first question is just how long have you worked for Texas Parks and Wildlife?
Only a few months. I actually came here in June.
Okay, okay. And so this is your first park and your first I guess you were hired with Texas Parks and Wildlife and it was for this park?
Yes, yeah.
And where did you come from?
Before this, I was working at Badlands National Park.
Oh, wow.
hmm
Wow. And how did you get to Martin Dice Jr. State Park? You just looked it up and said who was hiring, or you just
Kind
love hearing about Texas?
kind of, yeah. I mean, I had a permanent position in Virginia with the National Park Service to start in February, but the new administration put out their executive order, so I lost that job. But I started looking online for park interpreter jobs, and this one popped up. I applied and I interviewed, and now I'm here.
Awesome. Wow. That's totally awesome. So as a interpretive ranger, I love this question because it's been answered almost the same way every time. What does a typical day look like for you at the park?
It depends on the type of year, really. Like in the summer months or in the dead of winter, it's not very busy, because it's, either really hot or Texans think it's really cold. So there's really not a lot of people in the parks. There's not a lot of attendance at programs or on the trails or in the water. So most of those days I am kayaking on my own, hiking on my own, taking pictures of wildlife and everything on social media, practicing new programs that I want to give, and then like the fall and the spring is normally our busier time because it's cooler out, or it's just starting to get warmer out. So then that's when more people will come. That's when I'll be giving more programs with more attendance. School groups will come out, Boy Scouts will come out, that type of thing.
I started, when we get into these episodes with the smaller parks, what I love about them, first and foremost, is if you're a new hiker or a new backpacker, or, you're not really sure you want to get into this, or you want to kind of get on your own and like actually read a map and it's a wonderful opportunity because it's not overwhelming and you don't have to worry about getting lost, but to try some of these things. So try hiking and backpacking a little bit, or like I want to look at a map and just try to figure out how to get from here to this trail to connect to there, and it's not overwhelming. But when I say that for your park, if you like water, it is spectacular.
Yes.
I again, to the listeners, I was driving into the park and I almost pulled off to the side of the road because I had no idea how spectacular this park is just to take it in. It's a little gym. I absolutely, it's a gym. If you kind of take a step back, what inspired you to get into park work, whether it's a national park, state park?
I had a very active childhood, so I grew up like hiking and camping and doing all sorts of outdoor activities, but I didn't really start thinking about it having a parks career until I was stationed out in Washington State with the Navy. While I was there, I was hiking, backpacking, camping, literally pretty much every weekend, and that's when I really fell in love with being outside and all that has to offer, and I decided that I wanted to do something with the parks.
So my really, really good friend is out in Napa Vine, and my daughter lives in Bremerton because of the Navy.
That's where I was stationed.
Yeah. So she's working at what is that little town above Bremerton? Posbo?
Poulsbo.
Yeah. She loves Washington so much that she'll never come back.
It's so
It
pretty out
is a
there.
great it is. Even the state parks, like, right around Bremerton as you're coming in from Seattle, it's that little part of the highway, state park, state park, state park. And you're thinking, wow, it's a lot of state parks, and they are absolutely spectacular. I was
Yes,
hitting
they
every
are.
one. So that's awesome. What is your favorite part of your job?
Surprisingly, I really enjoy giving educational programs. I was a pretty shy, pretty quiet kid growing up, and I did not like talking in front of groups at all. So I got over that fear and everything, and I absolutely love it. I love talking to visitors about like the resources in the park and what we can do to help the park, advocate for it and everything. So I give programs on the animals you may see, the type of ecosystems, the trees, the hikes, the paddles, kind of just everything what each park has to offer. I absolutely love doing that.
Oh, it's awesome. And that's I think we talked about it a little bit before, even before the podcast, is one thing I've noticed about anybody affiliated with any of the parks, national parks, state parks, the love that you all have to share the knowledge. And it's been like, I think just logically you would think that, yeah, I mean, that would kind of be, important. But I mean, to really hear from you all and to witness your facial expressions and all inspiring for sure. Do you have a favorite memory or a visitor story so far since you've been at the park?
I haven't been here long enough to really have too many favorite ones, but I did get scared by an alligator once, and I think that's going to end up being my favorite one.
Is it safe to get in the water?
Yes. I was on the dock by one of the boat ramps, and I was talking to a maintenance guy and then a visitor, and we saw the alligator, 30, 40 yards away, just chilling. We watched him for a bit, and then he went under, and we're like, okay, cool, he heard us, he saw us, he didn't want to be by us, whatever. We turned back to the visitor, and a few minutes later, all of a sudden, we hear this giant splash behind us, and we're like, whoa, what is that? And it was the alligator just kind of, showing us that we were in his territory and that he was there, and we weren't expecting it at all. So I jumped out of my skin. Josh, the maintenance guy, jumped out of his skin. The visitors jumped out of their skin, and it was great. It was funny.
And to the listeners, don't feed the alligators.
Yes, please don't.
Please don't, because then they start associating us with food, and there's not a fear anymore. And yeah, you don't want the alligators by the kayak.
Yes, a fed alligator is a dead alligator.
Yeah, yeah. So what's one thing about your job that you think the listeners would be surprised about?
I think a lot of people don't know exactly all the cogs in the wheel that is a park ranger. So in my experience, at least, whenever I say I'm a park ranger, everybody automatically goes to game wardens, which they do stuff in the parks, but they're more the law enforcement side. Whereas park rangers, there's obviously interpretive rangers, there's maintenance rangers, admin rangers, people that work in the park stores. So there's a lot of different aspects that go into being a park ranger that people don't really necessarily know about.
Yeah, that's one thing. In all the previous episodes, recordings with other state parks, it's it surprised me are the amount of hats that you all wear. Any particular day, you're checking in, you're cleaning the restrooms, you're this, you're that. I mean, it's not just the job description, just probably just says anything ...
Pretty much, yeah.
And yeah, that shocked me. And so yeah, I love that question. All right, so let's kind of get into the park a little bit. So for someone who's never been, I know I've talked a whole lot about it, but how would you describe Martin Dice Junior State Park?
It's a pretty quiet park, but it's riddled with hardwood trees, swamps, sloughs, tall grasses, and tons of wildlife. Absolutely tons. Rodents of all sizes, all the way up to deer, alligator, things like that. So.
What about is bird watching a big thing there?
I enjoy bird watching. I see a lot of birds, but I don't see a lot of other people watching birds, so I couldn't really say for sure how big it is out here, but
there's a part in the park, I think it's the north part, where you're walking on these bridges, and I don't remember if it's an island kind of out there in the water or other land, but there were probably 10,000 of these white birds. when I was there, and they were all just kind of walking around. I guess the water was low, or I don't know the water flows of the park, but it was unbelievable. Like, God, there's that many birds out there.
Yes, there is quite a lot, especially if you go out paddling and you get away from like the actual park itself and you go deeper in, then you get surrounded by not only the white birds, which are the egrets, but you know, you got the anhingas, you got the normal songbirds and everything. You're just inundated with bird song, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's fun.
Yeah. So can you share a little bit about the park's history and how it's got its name?
So we're named after a Texas senator. He was Martin Dies Jr., the third, technically, but he just went by Martin Dies Jr. So like his grandpa and his dad were both named Martin Dies. But he grew up in the area in Jasper County, and he knew the area of what's now the park exceptionally well. He loved the outdoors, he loved exploring, he loved hiking, horseback riding, and he wanted to give back to the area that he loved. And once he became a senator and Congress and everything, he helped improve the state park system. And in 1965, to honor him and the work he did for not only our area but Texas state parks as a whole, we changed our name from Danby to Martin Dies to honor him.
Oh, wow. Nice. So what do you think makes Martin Dies Jr. State Park unique compared to other Texas state parks?
We have the convergence of the Neches and Angelina rivers, and that creates a pretty unique habitat for a lot of different wildlife. Not only like animals, but also like the tree and the plant life. We have a mix of lowland swamps and forests with pines, cypress trees, tons of deciduous trees, and obviously all of those sloughs throughout the reservoir you can explore through paddling and hiking. And
I was going to say alligators.
Yes, alligators too. You'll generally see a lot of alligators. I think the most I saw in one day was 6.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to let me know. I have 2 kayaks, and you're going to have to let me know where the hot spot is. That would be amazing.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. So what are some of the park's conservation priorities, do you think?
We have a couple. One is obviously controlling invasive species like the water hyacinth and the giant Sylvania. We control that by either chemical or mechanical removal. Another big one is regrowth sections throughout the park, especially between campsites. The aim of those regrowth sections is not only to help bring back native wildlife, plants, and trees to the area, but to also provide a little bit more privacy between the campsites since they are so relatively close. You don't want to be, at your campsite and look 5 feet to your right to see somebody else enjoying their campfire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you get enough of that in the neighborhoods these days.
Yes, you do.
Hey, neighbor. So are there any specific ecosystems there that require extra protection?
Not extra protection per se, more of like closer monitoring. It would definitely be the reservoir and the rivers, just because there are so many different species of mammals, reptiles, plants, trees, vegetation in general that rely on a clean and healthy habitat. So we try to keep those areas as clean as we can, whether it be from trash pickup. I actually picked up quite a lot of trash the other day, or the invasive species removal and control.
How mad do you get when you pick up one little piece of trash? Or orange pills.
I used to get pretty mad about it, and I'm still like mad about it, but I'm definitely more of the disappointed dad type. Whenever I see trash, I'm like, oh dang, these people.
I know when I'm I think one time it was at Trailhead 9 of the Lone Star Hiking Trail. So it's made up of 15 trailheads, 96.4 miles. And so you can really customize what you want to do. Overnights, through hike it. I picked up more trash that I have a Subaru Outback. I had to drop the back of the seats because it was so much trash. It was more than what just the hatchback part of it would handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was and then, I love the guad. So every time I see an orange peel, I'm like, come on, this stuff's not going to degrade. This soil is not going to. Yeah. So, all right. So If you look at let's just focus on the hiking. Like, how many miles does the park offer to hikers?
We have about 7 miles of hiking trails and then 14 miles of paddling trail.
Oh, wow. So to the listeners, 5 miles of hiking trails?
7.
7 miles of hiking trails. So, you could really have fun with that. It's not overwhelming. You're not going to get lost. So,
Nope. And it's not very strenuous. We're very
no.
flat over here, so.
I made a video when I was there last, and I was like, just talking about the park. And I was like, yeah, you may see me not stopping and walking really fast. It's because the mosquitoes are chasing me. So that's the only thing, catch it on the right time of year. But it's such a spectacular, beautiful park.
Yes, it is.
So can you describe the paddling trails and what visitors, I guess, may encounter in the water?
So the paddling trail, the one fun thing that I like about the water is that you don't necessarily have to follow our set paddling trails. You can really go wherever you feel like going, which is what I really enjoy when I go out paddling. But you can see different flowers and plants like the white water lily, American lotus, floating primrose. You'll see, unfortunately, invasive species like the water hyacinth and the giant Sylvinia. You'll see turtles. Hopefully you see a lot of alligators. Most of the time they hear you coming long before you see them, so they'll kind of duck under. But sometimes you can see one or a bunch or none. And then there's obviously a ton of birds like the egrets and anhingas, and then it just depends on the type of year, really, what and how many of the species you see.
Do you all at the park rent out kayaks or canoes?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we rent out kayaks and canoes, and then you can obviously bring your own as well.
Okay, and I guess if you bring your own, you would just need, I think it's a whistle and a life vest. I don't know what all the boating laws are. I just remember the whistle, the life vest. And let's say if I brought my own kayak, is it just you pay for like a day use fee, and then that includes whatever you want to do at the park?
Yep.
What about cell service? And if I'm bringing a kayak out, do I have to worry about getting lost, or does that happen much?
As far as cell service, it's pretty good. I have Verizon, and I haven't had any issues. I couldn't really say what AT&T or T-Mobile are out here. So mine is pretty good. And then as far as getting lost, not really. So if you're going down one way and all the trees are on your right-hand side, that whole way, on your way back, just make sure all the trees are on your left-hand side type of way. But we do have maps for our paddling trails that you can use as well. So,
what do you think is your most popular hiking trail?
Definitely Island Trail. One, because it's a lot shorter, and you can see a lot more wildlife on that trail because it is an island. So you have the opportunity of seeing really every animal that the park has. What
are your favorite trails or paddling routes in the park?
For hiking, I really enjoy Slough Trail when there's not a lot of mosquitoes. I've done all the trails, and I think Slough Trail is the worst when it comes to mosquitoes. So even if I wear tons of bug spray, I still get inundated with bites from mosquitoes. But aside from that, Slough Trail is really nice. I love that one. And paddling, I love to go anywhere. I love exploring new places, going down new sloughs and bayous and everything. But if I had to choose an actual trail for that, it would be the Walnut Paddle, because you start off going through a few sloughs and everything, and then you get out more into the lake and you kind of experience all the different sceneries that the park has to offer that way.
And for someone that maybe wants to get into the kayaking, canoeing, because I think your park really stands out in that area. Do you guys offer any guided paddling adventures for guests?
Yes, we do. So once a month, we have a couple volunteers that will lead a paddling group. One of them is actually a master naturalist. And then if I have the time or if I'm able, I'll put in, one or two other paddling trips. So at least once a month, sometimes 2 or 3 a month.
Well, that's nice. So, in your opinion, are there any hidden gems or lesser known spots that visitors often miss that you think are worth noting?
Not a lot of people visit the Rush Creek or the Wolf Creek side of the park, which is going to be on the side of the bridge that's closer to Woodville. They both have really pretty spots to kayak in that are actually my favorites.
Are there any seasonal changes like fall, spring blooms, the leaves change that make the park especially beautiful?
In the spring, the magnolias will bloom, really big white flowers, so that's absolutely gorgeous. They'll bloom, April time frame. I haven't been here really in any season aside from summer, but I would imagine that the fall colors here are going to be pretty nice. Fall obviously is in September, but the leaves don't start changing until October, November, just depending on where you are in the States. But
sometimes February.
Yes, sometimes February. But we have tons of deciduous trees. We have the bald cypress trees. All those are going to be changing colors too as well in the fall months, and then they'll obviously get their color in May, April timeframe as well.
Cool. So what type of camping are available at the park? Like tent, RV, shelters, group sites? What's offered there?
We have all of those actually. We have plenty of sites for RVs, tent sites, walk-in sites. We have shelter cabins. Those shelter cabins, some have AC, some don't, but they're really just a small shack where you can put, cots and everything in it, just kind of a way to get you out of, the heat or the cold or the mosquitoes. So we have actually quite a wide variety of places to camp.
And when you say the walk-in campsites, is it like a primitive campsite?
Walk-in as far as walk-in like 10 feet. So There's no like true primitive sites in the park. There's places you can camp in the wildlife management area, which abuts our park, that you can go in there. But I don't know exactly where those are.
Do y'all have any special kind of like waterfront campsites that are available to the guests?
The majority of them are going to be either on the water or it's going to be across the road from it. So really, no matter where your campsite is, you're going to see water. You're going to be right next to it.
What do you think is the best time of day in the park? Let's say I'm at a campsite right next to the water. Is it sunrise or sunset?
It depends on where you are in the park and where your campsite is. The 500s and 600s, those ones are going to be really good for sunset just because of the way they're facing. Other than that, really, all the other ones are going to be facing trees and everything, so you're not going to get a really good sunrise or sunset. The 1 and 200s, you'll get a good view of the sunset as well, maybe a little bit of the sunrise too.
Nice. So, important question, are pets allowed in the park and on the trails?
Yes, they are. They're allowed on the trails. They're allowed in the park. They obviously have to be on a leash. They are, however, not allowed in any of the park buildings.
And also keep your dog on a leash because there's alligators.
Oh, yes, yeah. That's one of the things we tell people, bring your dog, yes, please, but don't let it swim in the water. Don't let it go near the water type of thing. My parents came down to see me in June to bring me the rest of my stuff. And they have a German Shepherd, and she loves water, which a lot of shepherds don't. But I told Mom, I was like, when you come down, Gypsy, my dog has to stay on a leash and don't have her near the water, because alligators can tell the difference between when a person is swimming and when a dog is swimming. So it's just stay away from the water if you have a pet.
Absolutely, and if you bring your pet, pick up after them. And when you pick up after them, don't leave it at the trailhead. Just take it with you. Pack it out.
We have tons of places. We have tons of trash cans and garbage cans and everything. Just take it with you for 2 seconds, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of that, are there any leave no trace challenges unique to a water-rich environment like Martin Dice Jr.?
a lot of people, unfortunately, like we've been talking about, will leave their trash at the boat landings, which is really sad because there's trash bins, right next to the boat landings and everything. So they'll just either throw it out, it might fall out of their boat or their car, and they don't take a second to do that double glance to make sure they have everything that they need. I'll find quite a lot of trash on the water too. I can give those guys a little bit of grace because if you're on a boat and you're going pretty fast, you might not realize that some of your trash isn't secured and it flies out, so you may not know that, but then at the same time, they may just toss them over the side because they don't want to deal with it too.
It's almost like the shopping cart at the grocery store.
Yes. I can't stand when people put the cart in the middle of a parking spot and the trolley space is right there. Just walk 10 feet and you can put it away.
Yep. Preach. So, what fishing opportunities are available at the park, and what species can visitors expect to catch?
Ooh, tons of fishing in the park. You can fish from the boats or the shore. The cool thing about fishing in the park and any state park is that as long as you pay the entrance fee, you can fish in park boundaries. You don't need a fishing license when you come to the park.
What?
Mm-hmm. That's all you gotta do is just
Really?
pay the entrance. Yeah, that's all you gotta do is just pay the entrance fee. So you can fish. We have a couple bridges that you can fish from. You can fish from your campsite. You can fish from an empty campsite. Obviously, if somebody comes in, you'll want to move your stuff and everything. You can fish from the kayaks. You can bring your own boat type of thing. And we have tons of fish. We have catfish, which I'm not a big fan of catfish, but we have them. We have crappie.
Have you ever had fried catfish?
No, I have. I actually don't like fish, which is surprising. I don't like seafood. I don't like lake fish. I've tried it everywhere, and I can't get the taste, can't get the texture.
What about crawfish?
Nope. I actually had a couple as a pet in 3rd grade.
Yeah. I can't believe you don't need a fishing license.
Mm-mm.
And that's with any state park that you pay the entrance fee?
Yep.
Wow. That's awesome. Do you have any tips for first-time paddlers or anglers that are visiting the park?
For paddlers, especially when you're new at it, the hardest thing for them is getting in and out of the kayak or canoe because obviously they're kind of they kind of go at an angle at the bottom, so they wiggle a lot, and a lot of people don't realize or they're not prepared for that big wiggle one side or the other, so they just kind of fall over or they at least lose their balance a little bit. So that is the hardest part for them, but once you get in the water and you're free from shore, paddling is pretty easy.
And to the listeners, we were not laughing about imagining people getting into the kayak or the canoe and falling out into the water as the alligators swim by. We were not.
Definitely not.
What do you think is the biggest challenge in managing a park with both water and land recreation?
It would definitely have to be environmental sustainability, finding solutions and working through problems so that our park, at both the land and the water levels, can be sustained and be able to be used for generations to come. So obviously, that's controlling invasive species, that's picking up trash, that's doing fish populations, alligator populations, that type of thing. Water level as well.
So how do you balance the heavy visitor use with protecting the ecosystems?
By educating the public on the harm that damaging the ecosystem, like littering, does not only for the park as a whole and the visitor experience, but for every single living thing, whether it be an animal or plant life, is affected in the park.
Are there any volunteer opportunities for visitors to help with the conservation efforts, the cleanup, camp hosting? Is there is there any needs that you have for just kind of volunteer opportunities?
We can have up to 6 camp hosts throughout the year. We have 6 spots dedicated for them. You have to have an RV, of course. Obviously, they help with general upkeep, mowing, cleaning, like the bathrooms and everything, picking up trash, kind of just your everyday cleanliness part of it. We'll do a few cleanups throughout the year. We'll do trail maintenance. A lot of like Boy Scout groups especially are looking for a service project to do, and we do have trails that obviously need to be maintained, so we'll set up opportunities for them to come out and kind of help maintenance with all that stuff as well. So there's plenty of different opportunities that you can do at the park.
And do you know if the park has a friends group? So if people want to make donations and stuff, that they would be able to go through that avenue?
Yep, we have a friends group.
So what do you think the best way for the listeners to connect and engage with the park to kind of see what's happening, follow all the activities?
We're pretty active on social media, Facebook and Instagram and everything. We'll put out for the month what programs are being offered and when. We have the events page on the Martin Dias Junior State Park website, TPWD and everything. So there's plenty of ways for them to keep in touch with what we have going on.
Nice. So as we start to wrap up, are there any upcoming projects or expansions planned for the park?
Yes, we have a couple. We are going to be we are going to be building 2 brand new fishing piers. One is going to be on the Walnut Ridge side. One is going to be on the hen house unit. So a lot of people have been wondering. So we closed off all the 100 and 200 camping sites on the hen house side we're in preparation for building that pier. So that pier is going to be 100 yards long, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be pretty wide too as well. So it's going to be a pretty big fishing pier on that side. The one on Walnut Ridge is going to be in kind of like a U-shaped fishing pier. And then we have what's called the Discovery Center. So it used to be the old building that if a family wanted to host like a family reunion or a big group or something, they could go in there. But with COVID, it became kind of not a popular thing. It just kind of sat empty for a while. So we changed that into what's going to be called the Discovery Center. It's going to have a whole bunch of exhibits. It's going to have a larger park store with a lot more merchandise and everything. So we're pretty excited about both those projects.
100-yard fishing pier? That's crazy.
I could be wrong on that number, but my brain is saying it's 100 yards. But
yeah,
I could be wrong on that one.
It's still awesome. It's another opportunity for people to engage in the park and unlock different fishing locations.
Yes.
So if you could just kind of step back and just look at the park as a whole, how do you envision the park evolving over the next decade? And when I say this, it really struck me the passion that Aaron at Purtis Creek had about the ABA accessibility. And, like at their park, they're doing a lot with making all trails accessible. They even had some ideas for the visually impaired to have, I guess they have it on the ground where it's almost, I guess, like a braille where then people that were visually impaired would know, okay, this is a trailhead, and really some amazing things. So how would you envision the park, or how would you want the park to evolve over the next decade?
We are actually looking at doing or changing all of our buildings to be ADA accessible. With those fishing piers, there's going to be that one bathhouse on Hen House that's going to get torn down and redone. That's going to get changed into, it's going to be a bigger building, more amenities there. That one's going to be ADA compliant as well. But there's going to be, once we get the fishing piers and everything all set up, I would envision, a lot more usage by people, either just camping, day use, hiking, fishing, that type of thing. So a lot more use, and I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. All right, last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
For someone that has never been, this is your time to sell them on the park and get that park on their bucket list. So go.
We offer miles of hiking and paddling trails where you're surrounded by beautiful pine trees, bald cypress trees, maples, sweet gums, tons and tons of waterfront campsites for your RV, tent. We have shelter cabins, and you obviously have the opportunity to see a bunch of wildlife, alligators, armadillos, opossums, tons of rodents like squirrels, maybe a bobcat, maybe a coyote. They have been in the area. They're kind of elusively seen, but we do have them. And we also offer, daily educational programs and monthly activities for kids and people of all ages.
Sold.
Yes.
I've been there before, and to the listeners, it is worth. I think it's maybe a 3-hour drive ish for me. It was so worth it. I was shocked at how beautiful the park is. I was shocked about how much potential fun you could have at that park with kayaks, with all the stuff, wildlife, all the white birds. I mean, I probably sat there for 10 minutes trying to count them all. And I'm like, there's bazillions. So to the listeners, it's definitely worth a drive out. Get out on the park, get out on the water. Yeah. So I think you nailed it. You nailed it.
Yay.
So Kathryn, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast and sharing your love about service, rangering, and the park. And also to the listeners, I know we joke a lot about the mosquitoes, but don't let that deter you. It's not that bad. It's
Nope,
like a
it's
normal
not.
day. Yeah, it's like a normal day. You go outside. Yeah, there's going to be a couple mosquitoes. These mosquitoes may chase you and pick you up and carry you off, but it's okay. We're used to that.
We are. The views are worth the mosquito bites. Trust me on this. They're worth it. They're 100%.
Absolutely. And what was really encouraging is when I was there, and it was during, I want to say, the end of summer. There were no horseflies, and that's what stops me from hiking is the horseflies. I didn't experience any horseflies. Mosquitoes, no big deal. It's like a daily occurrence here, but yeah. So don't let our joking about mosquitoes stop you. If you're from Texas or Louisiana, nothing.
You got nothing on the mosquitoes.
That's right. That's right. All right, Kathryn. Again, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to come on the podcast. I loved it. Great episode. And I will release you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, Jason.
Absolutely. And that wraps up another exciting episode of the Trailblazing Texas Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode today, and stay tuned for our next episode where we will pick back up where we left off and guarantee to uncover many more hiking gems and share many more tips to enhance your experience on the trail. Until then, happy trails and happy hiking.